Hello, welcome. Welcome, all of you who are listening to us. We love this exchange. We are so excited. We are so happy. We'll share with you the recent developments. Just know that it is all moving in a beautiful direction, and the direction that most of you truly desire. Why you incarnated on earth. Each step of the way, you reach certain markers, if you will, certain moments that are beneficial for you to learn something a little bit more expansive. That's when we like to show up and give you further information. We'll talk a little bit about that today, but we just want you to know that you are loved, you are supported. There are many here who have dedicated their existence to the advancements that are being made on the earth plane and the successes that you've had in assisting others. So we will chat a little bit about that. We want you to know, as we said before, that things are moving in a very positive direction. You must remember that now is a very important time for you to all take stock of where you're at, what you understand, what do you feel, who are you? You will be supported by the frequency and vibration, and you call it energies, that are out there. You see planet Earth, the beings on planet Earth, all of this is shifting. Your physical form, we have talked about this with you, is changing. It has become crystalline and not carbon-based. So you are at a higher frequency. Not all of you, of course not. Because what makes one of a higher vibration over another? Well, it is the way that you are. It is what your awareness is, what you have been able to reconnect with in a conscious way of the truth of who you really are. What do we mean by that? Well, we have been talking to you about this for a very long time. And that is that you are eternal beings, that you are sovereign and nothing can harm you. And more of you are truly understanding what that means, not just in words, but in actions and in feelings. So we wanted to let you know that we see this, and that is what has shifted the trajectory of the timeline that you were on. We've spoken to you about timelines, and there are many. And there are timelines that you are residing in, that you are completing, that are of a lower vibration. And you are looking to complete those timelines as you work on yourselves in this timeline. Let me attempt to explain. We would suggest, if you do not remember, to go back to some of our previous messages that have spoken of timelines. But as you know, that you are multidimensional beings residing in different dimensions in different degrees. And when you came into existence, and with your choices and such, that you created different timelines. Some of these timelines, the experiences that are happening, life experiences, are very limiting. They're very chaotic. There is much destruction. It did not go in the direction that is of the highest vibration. It is of a very low vibration. And some of you have been able to complete those timelines with your consciousness, the essence of who you are. You would, in that timeline, say it was death. Some of you just sacrificed yourselves in a way for the greater good in those timelines, so that your focus as a soul, remember we are speaking of your soul, has been removed. Those aspects that were in these lower vibrational timelines, You are either in the process of removing yourself from that, finishing, completing, or you have already done that. How are you doing that? Most of you are, as I said, or we have said because we are a group, you are doing it through some form of action that goes for the greater good. In a dark timeline, in a tyrannical timeline where others are being persecuted, or just to use as an example, you will do some action that will be brave, for you will understand that the greater good will benefit from this action, and it may cause you to lose your life, or you may lose your life in a very difficult way because you are doing something for truth, for the truth of who you are. Well, when you do that, you reinforce this timeline where the majority of your focus is the one that we are interacting with you on. We are in the other ones, but for the sake of understanding, we are focused here in this timeline. So when you do that, that energy of those timelines is no longer there. Your focus, your energy, your frequency, vibration, however you see that, is no longer there, and it is back connected to your soul and seeking out higher vibrational timelines because of the bravery you had, or the understanding that you had in those timelines, that you were an eternal being, that you were sovereign, that you are, I should use the present, that you are sovereign, that you are eternal, and you understood that and therefore had no fear. Or maybe you had fear in this timeline, but you still did what was for the greater good in a selfless action. So those timelines, your need to experience them is dissolved. Some of you are in the process of dissolving them. Some of you, maybe down the road, those I'm about to address or speak of, will get these messages. So there are those that are not capable of extracting themselves from that trajectory of darkness and selfishness. Therefore, they are making choices that keep them in that timeline, and they are more than likely selfish and self-absorbed in the timeline here. These may be friends, they may be acquaintances, they may be co-workers, people that are in your life. So you may think there's no hope for them because they have no awareness, and there might not be. Because remember, we have told you, each one of you is responsible for what you are doing, but you are part of a greater whole, and your actions will then affect the whole. So if you are focused on evolving or bringing yourself out of that shrouded, veiled existence of limitation, limiting belief, and you are focused on knowing yourselves as eternal beings, unlimited possibility and creativity, you are contributing that to the whole that these individuals are connected to. It at least gives a greater opportunity for them to also receive these messages. But it is not your responsibility to make sure they receive them. It is your responsibility to take care of you. And they will choose, just like you, to listen or choose to follow these lower vibrational timelines. You don't know. It's not your obligation and responsibility. Because when you have an obligation and a responsibility to self in the way that we speak of self as a loving, compassionate, infinite being, that is what you transmit. And not the selfishness, but selflessness. You must be clear on that so that you can truly help others. By taking care of yourself, evolving your own consciousness, you say raising your consciousness. we say taking the veils off, the shrouds off, because you are already that. You've just been duped into believing that you are not. But as you do that, that is what you are contributing to the greater good that all are connected to. And that's where you can have the influence that you would hope to have. But we have spoken to you about this many times. We want to reiterate these things. We want to stress the importance of you knowing yourself as an eternal being, having a human experience, not as a human being. Yes, you are a human being, but you are an eternal being having a human experience. Therefore, all of what we have for you today is this. We are here to assist you. We are able to meet with your frequency much easier than we have been able to in the past. You have allowed your own vibrations to raise as you are exploring the truth of who you are. We are waiting for you to be in that place where, as we've said other times, you will see us with your physical eyes. We don't know time frames. Some of you might already see us with your physical eyes. Why do we bring this up? Because as that happens, as you hear about it, whether you experience or not, you will know that that is when you are moving into what you call fifth dimensional reality, that your consciousness has shifted and raised in such a way that you are now in that fifth dimensional reality. And it's gradual. Some may do it at the snap of the fingers, but it is not advised, for it's too shocking to the system, the entire system. And it's what you call on shaky legs. You want to do this in a way that it is strong within you, and that is what you are in the process of doing. We cannot say what time it will take. You are determining that. But know this, that things may look dark, but remember, the darkness, the difficulties, the things that are not of love and truth and goodness and creation and of the divine are being shown to you. And it is your responsibility to look at them and either accept them as your truth or deny them as being false. And then go from there. If you deny them as being false, you will get your next move. If you accept them, you will get your next move. That is where choice comes. So we want you to know that the choices you are making have shifted the focus. Most of the energy is on this timeline where most of humanity accepts the truth of themselves as being unlimited creative beings, infinite awareness, infinite intelligence, and very happily and joyfully reside in the fifth dimensional reality. But there will be those that do not choose that. In the meantime, you are being exposed to that which is of the darkness, but you have the responsibility of discerning what is of the darkness, what is showing you your limitations, what is showing you what is not of love and goodness and compassion. And then in that moment, you choose. And when you choose the lower choices, we'll say, those things that are more limiting and maybe cruel choices, but you become aware of how you are choosing them, why you are choosing them, that's that opportunity for choosing differently. There is always the opportunity for awareness, for forgiveness of yourself and others. Keep moving forward in this direction, and you will have everything that is meant for you to have because it was taken away from you by design. It's always been there, but you don't see it because you are in a limited form, which we have spoken to you about. This is all for now. We love you very much. We are excited. We are there with you. The future looks very interesting. Doesn't mean you're not going to go through some darkness, but darkness is not of truth. Remember that. So when something frightens you or throws you off, causes anxiety, fear, know that it is not of your truth. And ask to be shown the way to your truth in that situation. What is it? And then all of your monsters and demons dissolve because they cannot stand up to that truth of unconditional love and acceptance by you, the divine, that are connected to source energy. Cannot stand up against it. And that's what so many of you are doing fearlessly. And it brings us great joy. That is all for now. We love you very much. Keep up the good work, as you would say, and we will talk soon. We are Sornia. Goodbye.